We watched Breathtaking last night, which is a drama um, series. I think there's 3 episodes of um, the coronavirus arriving in the UK, and um, it's an account using real stories of how overwhelmed one particular hospital was. Obviously, all the hospitals were overwhelmed, but it was just using this as an example. It was just breathtaking. And I spoke, I think, before about how I avoid the news and how I avoid watching the news and hearing the news, and particularly get very quickly triggered by anything about Boris Johnson. And of course, all the way through this, you've got him going on about, how we're going to keep the country safe and we're going to keep it under control. I really, really struggled not to use the word that I don't use. Really struggled. It was on the tip of my tongue several times. And it was a very thought-provoking, anger-making episode. And I will watch all of it because it's what happened, and it opens your eyes. It opens my eyes a bit more to what went on, and it reminds me of how unprepared we all were for what happened. When we go into the doctor's surgery, into the waiting room, we wear masks. We go in with a mask, and we went in with masks on yesterday, and there was nobody in the waiting room, so we took them off, and sat there for quite a while. Actually, I don't know why he was running so late, so early, but he was. Sat there for quite a while, and a woman came in and started coughing. No mask on her, and we sat there for a bit, and she kept coughing. Not as bad as the one a few weeks back in the nurses' station, but coughing. And in the end, we both picked up our masks and put them back on again. And it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand why people have gone back to that normal type of behaviour that we all probably didn't really give much thought to. I know I did, because I've had this autoimmune disease for so long. I am much more aware of people around me and their infectious behaviour. But it's just like, there's a notice on the board. If you've got a fever, if you've got a cough, if you've got this, you must wear a mask, and people are just not bothering. So that was interesting. I'm just about to order more masks because we're running out, and I'm going to order the FP3 masks. I think we've run out of those. So I've been using the blue ones. Mark will reuse an FP3 mask. He'll spray it with alcohol and reuse it. I don't agree with that, but he doesn't take any notice of what I agree with, so whatever. He's out so you saw him cycling earlier. He's now out there clearing his workbench, which has been a mess for over a year, probably. It became a bit of a dumping ground when we had the refurbishment going on here back in May last year. No, it wasn't May. We were in Canada in May. It was March and April last year. Excuse me. So he's out there sitting, having a good old, clear out in there, which is impressive. And I said to the doctor yesterday, I said, he doesn't remember how he was before. He doesn't remember how little he was able to do before. And now he's doing stuff, and he's motivated to do stuff. I don't have to ask him to do stuff. And even then, back before he had his knee done, I'd sort of say, do you think you could? And he'd say, I don't think I can. And so I'd have to do it. And it's astonishing now to have him just getting on with stuff. And I think he'd been like that for months and months and months and months and months before. And he said to the doctor yesterday, he's waiting to see if the right knee gets better than the left knee. At the moment, he said, I can't really tell the difference. And he said, if I begin to, if it begins to be obvious that the left knee is not as good, then I'll get that done. So I do think he'll have that done maybe later on this year, maybe at the same time, at end of October perhaps. And, by this time in 2025, he'll be even more of a new man. I think somebody, I don't know who it was, I think it was David Ellis, said to me that I'd have to watch myself, he'd be running around the garden after me. Well, he won't need to do that because I can't run around the garden. That walk I did round the garden earlier, just, gently walking down, walking round. I'd been in the kitchen with Mark and we'd been preparing the vegetables that were in the oven roasting. And then I walked out the front here to look at the blossom. Then I walked back through and walked out the back and then walked over and picked those last daffodils and came in, and I was absolutely, I sort of reached a point of feeling like I'm back in that having to count how many spoons I've got left. It's horrible. So whilst he's out there, using energy and doing all that stuff, I'm slumped in front of the TV, slumped because it's the most comfortable position for my neck, and because even sitting here on my Mac for an hour is using more energy than I have, and it's absolutely fucking annoying after nearly 7 years to be in this position. I had a letter back from my rheumatologist yesterday, and she's given me the extra injections that I asked her for so that I can alternate with a higher dose every other week, because I think this is Wednesday. This is the same day that I went last week for art. We had art on a Wednesday, and I walked out of there and walked up to the pharmacy and was really struggling, and I'm struggling again. And I had my injection on a Sunday, so I just think that's running out and that I need more. And she's agreed, and so she's given me more. So I need to go and order that tomorrow, because I have to order it. They don't keep it in stock. So on Sunday I'll have a 20 milligrams or 20 mils or whatever it is, and then the following Sunday I'll have 17 and a half, and hopefully that would get me up and running again, because I'm not up and running. I'm flagging. So I'm managing to do a meal for us at lunchtime and do that little pot around the garden, which I don't normally do, and that's it. And the stuff I want to do, well, there isn't. But I could titivate or do a bit of housework or something, but I can't. I just can't do any more than I'm doing, and I feel like I'm doing very little. He had to cut some of the vegetables this morning because I'm back to not being able to use my hands. I can use them, but I'm fumbling and I can't grip stuff. So, it's a bit dangerous cutting stuff with a big knife. I become a danger. So that's a pain. So we watched Breathtaking. I'm currently watching on Netflix. When I am sitting here, I'm watching, it's not telling me what am I watching? Challenger,
my forebears came across
the space shuttle disaster. That's really, really moving to watch that after all these years. I think it was 1985. So that's 95, 2005, 50. So it's 40 years ago. 40 years ago. Blimey. So I'm watching that. I'm reading coming to the end of Scotland Street and was thinking to myself that I would stop reading it. I was getting a bit, it wasn't holding my attention. It's Scotland Street Espresso Tales 1. Well, I think it's not. Oh, so I'm reading book 2. So I was getting to the point of thinking, I'm not gonna carry on. I'm gonna find something else to read. And of course, towards the end of the book, it starts to get a bit more interesting again, to hold my interest and make me want to see what happens next. So I'll look at the next book. I was looking for a book earlier, but couldn't find one. I couldn't find one. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to read if I do give up on Scotland Street. So I did a bit more of my backyard weather thing, and did a quiz. They're sort of multiple choice questions. There's not many after a series of videos. And the problem is that by the time I get to the multiple choice, I've forgotten some of the answers in the videos. It's like, which is annoying because I'm answering and I'm getting one right or I'm getting two right. Sometimes I get the whole lot right, but then I'm submitting, and that's going towards my overall mark. And I need to be a bit more careful. Now, I could open it in 2 tabs and then go back and see what he's. Oh God, he's so boring. What he said. What's my progress today? My progress today is 61%. I think it says note that some content may not yet be released, so there may be more content. So I've done 61%. The passing grade is 65%, and my current grade is 21%. So I'm going to have to up my game. I will do. I'll find another way of trying to remember what he said, but I'd sort of switch off a bit. So I got things wrong about the weather. I used to get it better before I relied on my my course. It's warm outside. It's gone down to 11 now since we've had rain. It went up to 19. Now, what did I learn? I learned that as the cold front comes in, it pushes out the warm front, I think. So what happened was, no, we had a cold front. I won't bother you. I won't bore you with it. I'm off to buy a mask. Carry on. I'm sitting watching the repair shop. That's easy viewing, and that makes me cry as well. I'm sitting watching that in front of the TV once I've ordered the mask. And I'll see you all soon.